And then back to Iguodala to the rim. Oh, great block. James out of nowhere, skies to the rim. Oh, Boyd took the advantage and played on from inside the center square. Boyd kicked the goal. Boyd kicked the goal from inside the center. Here's Aloisi for a place in the World Cup. He's hands right back up. Big head kick. Down goes Thompson. It's over.
Live it, breathe it, love it. All sports, double coverage.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. I hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the great man, Sauce. Rocking the Arsenal tonight, Saucy. Of course,
Yep.
I'm rocking alcohol this week, so...
Unfortunately, didn't get the win on the weekend. We'll talk about that a bit later in the show. But good performance from Ange Ball. Bit of Ange Ball. It was bittersweet because it was.
I want to see you succeed, but not against your
I do
team.
want to see Ange succeed, but not against Arsenal. Unfortunately,
Exactly
Ange.
right.
But nonetheless, it's been a big week in sport, and we've got one of the biggest weeks in the calendar here down under in obviously Melbourne, Australia, where we're from. The AFL Grand Final plays this Saturday, and we'll talk about the prelims and the Grand Final and give it a bit of a preview and a rundown where we see the matchups and what could potentially play out. But Doma, what else has been happening?
It's been a big 24-hour source in the
Big,
AFL
big.
world because we had a huge upset in the Brownlow last night. And a lot of people in footy circles are saying that the umpires need to be scrapped on giving the votes going forward.
I think I have
'cause
to
there was
agree. I have to agree.
a few interesting counts for a few games on who polled votes, and we are going to go through it. And is the Brownlow rigged? I don't know. We've put it in the title of the show. There's compelling evidence source that we're going to bring forward, and there's a game in particular that when I show you it,
There's a couple of games.
no, but there's one player in one game. I reckon it's going to tip you over the edge. We could get a Saucy's rant on the get-go, on the fly, and we're going to start there with the Brownlow. Congratulations to Lachie Neale. Let's start this segment with a disclaimer source. This is no way, shape, or form us discrediting how good of a footballer Lachie Neale actually is. All right, let's put it out there. All right, not discrediting this guy at all. Me personally didn't think he had the best season he ever had. I'm not sure with yourself, Sauce, how you feel, but it's very interesting. All right, they got a pretty stacked midfield. Dunkley in there. Zach Bailey goes into the middle. You got McCluggage. As you can see with the image I just brought up, Joe Danaher scored the combined votes of Dunkley, Bailey, and McCluggage himself.
How does that happen?
I know Will Ashcroft polled 10 votes, but the funny thing about Josh Dunkley, Sauce, is he's the number one ranked Brisbane player this season. Number one ranked player. He had some massive games. A few games where he was equal on possessions as Lachie Neale. He was more effective than Lachie Neale. His tackling was almost 4 times higher than what Lachie Neale was. So he was in amongst it a fair bit, Josh Dunkley. So the most surprising one for me is McCluggage had 3 votes for the whole night. So I've got there's a few things we'll run through. Not that one. We'll start here. Here it is. Here he is. Where is he? Josh Dunkley. He's the 10th ranked player in terms of this is obviously Supercoach scores, but it is on ranking points. He's the 10th highest ranked player in the competition. There you go. He's the Bont up top. Number one ranked player in the whole comp. The Bont. There he is. Who else was in their source? Clayton Oliver, you take him out because he missed half the season. Christian Petrarca, the fourth highest ranked player in the comp. Source. Laird, 5th. Merritt, 6th. Equal with Dacos. They both average exactly the same. Dacos obviously missed the last few games of the season. There's Dunkley in 10th, as we said. Dawson polled really well in 9th. Dawson outpolled Laird. I get that. Keep working your way down. Butters, 13th ranked. Got Goulden. There he is. There's Goulden, 16th ranked Source. There you go. Keep working your way down. LD Soup. He didn't have as many. You can see the total score here. Didn't really have that much, but you get down to the 19th ranked player this season, Source. We'll take out Clayton Oliver and we'll take out Luke Davies-Uniacke. He's the 17th highest ranked player based on points, total score, ranking points. There he is, 17th best. Lachie Neale. There he is. He's still 7 points, 7 positions lower than what Josh Dunkley was, as you can see here. There's Dunkley.
How did he score 31 and Dunkley only scored 4? That's ridiculous.
4. Yeah. All right. Now we're going to get to the fun stuff. Here we go. Source. Round 9. Nick Dacos. 41 disposals. He had 1 clearance. I can get it. Sometimes you can get some cheap stats. 0 votes. Round 3. 33 disposals, 2 clearances, 2 votes. He got votes in that game. This is the best one. Round 4, 38 disposals, 2 goals, 5 clearances, 0 votes.
How do you get 0 for kicking 2 goals and having 38?
Bontempelli, round 13, 31 disposals, 1 goal, 8 clearances, 0 votes. Just remember this guy in that middle period. He didn't really poll that well in the middle section. He got a lot of votes towards the back end. But just remember at one stage, Bontempelli was averaging 9 clearances a game this season. 9 clearances a game. We spoke about this when we did our mid-season Brownlow predictor. 9. Do you actually understand how hard that is to do and how impressive that is? 9 clearances a game. Goulden, round 24. This is the most ridiculous one. They did lose this game, but they lost it by, I think, 8 points or 10 points. 42 possessions, 2 goals, 4 clearances against Melbourne, 1 vote. Round 8, 37 disposals, 7 clearances, Source, 1 vote. This is the best one. Round 14, 13 disposals. This is the one that I was telling you pre-show, Source. 34 Supercoach points, 13 disposals, 2 clearances, 3 votes.
How does that get... How? How does that get 3 votes? 13 disposals, 2 clearances.
It gets better than that, Source, because I saw a thing today based off that game by the Go to Sports Journalism, John Ralph. 13 touches, 4 ineffective, 2 clangers. All right, so we've got 7 disposals left. 4 were short kicks, 1 kick against the ground that went 1 meter, 0 impact. 3 votes. I'll say that again. 13 touches, 4 ineffective, 2 clangers, 4 short kicks, and 1 scrounge kick off the ground that went no further than 1 meter. 3 votes. I'll go to round 14, Source. I'll go to round 14. All right, because I got it up here. Port Adelaide beat Geelong by 58 points. It was not 50, 38 points. All right. Dan Houston, 31 disposals, 19 kicks, 12 handballs, 7 marks. Ollie Wines, 28 disposals, 10 kicks, 18 handballs, 6 tackles. Connor Rozee, 25 possessions, 14 kicks, 10 handballs, 4 marks. Butters, 23 disposals, 1 goal, 9 kicks, 14 handballs, 3 tackles. Mitch Duncan, 20 disposals. Isaac Smith, 20 and a goal. Dylan Williams, off half back, 19 disposals, 14 kicks. Oh my God.
That's ridiculous, Doma. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think something needs to be done about this, mate. I just don't understand it. And this one here, you're telling me this one.
Jeremy
Doma.
Cameron, one vote
Cameron.
against Carlton. 25 touches, 6 goals, 8 marks. From a centre-half forward in the modern game source. Mate, we're giving Charlie Curnow 3 votes when he was kicking 9 against the freaking bye against West Coast. And you can't give this guy 3 votes for kicking 6 and having 25 touches. Come on, man. What? Excuse the French, but what the fuck are you actually watching? There's the Dacos again. There's the Goulden one, Dacos one, and then, yeah, that's my compelling evidence source that I'm bringing to the table.
Yeah, we spoke about that global. Check Dunkley, only 4 votes.
McCluggage had
we
3
can't believe it.
global.
We can't believe it. Can't believe it. Hey, in one game there, Joey Danaher kicks 6 goals and he doesn't get the 3 votes. Charlie Cameron kicks 7 goals in a game and he doesn't get the 3 votes. How is that possible?
Lachie Neale had 20 disposals. Bro, Lachie Neale had 20 disposals in that game. Charlie Cameron kicked 7. He wasn't even he was, honestly, I think he was ranked 20th in terms of, he was ranked 20th in terms of the players on the ground in that game, and he got 3 votes. 20th source. Lachie Neale didn't even make the All-Australian team.
That as well.
What are we watching? Man, I know we gave shit. I know we gave shit to a certain umpire who was, in my opinion, the scapegoat for the betting scandal in the AFL. But I'm just putting it out there, ladies and gentlemen. Where there's one, there's many. You just use one as the scapegoat to try and detract the others from continuing to do that shit. I'm just putting it out there.
Mate, it's something that can be manipulated very easy, you know. Mate, this reeks of an inside job, man. He was nowhere near the best player in a lot of games this season for Brisbane. Like that, he got 3 votes. It was just ridiculous.
Man, I saw him playing this prelim game against Carlton.
He couldn't believe. Look, you seen by his reaction, he couldn't actually believe that he'd won the medal. Like, he actually genuinely didn't even think that he had that good of a year.
And like I said, it's no disrespect to him because he's a great footballer. But yeah, he was even in disbelief. And it's just funny because the Bont once again gets robbed. And Christian Petrarca this year, like, let's be honest, he dominated. Like, had no Oliver and was just an absolute machine
holding the fort
in the
for a
midfield.
while there, mate. There was a while there where he was averaging like 25 and kicking 2 goals every game.
The fact that Dacos didn't play the last 4, 3 of the last 4 he didn't play. The first one, obviously, he got injured in round 21.
He got injured early.
The fact that he only lost by 3 is unbelievable. Yeah, Clary 6 votes is global. I understand that, but that's obviously because he was injured. But this is the perfect example source. Lachie Neale had 23 possessions in that prelim final against Carlton, right? 23 possessions. He was 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th highest ranked player on the field in that game in terms of like possession getters, or 5th, sorry. In my opinion, you watch that game, he got all his chief stats when the game was finished. He did nothing. You know how I know this? Because he was in a multi-source. And he did nothing. He had 9 possessions at halftime, got absolutely killed, and then had 14 in the second half, and they were all in the back half. I'm being serious. Most of them were all in the back half. He probably got about, how many clearances? I'll be interested to see how many clearances he got in this. 60% disposal efficiency as well. 4 clangers. He did have 8 clearances. I'll give him that. But he got all these stats out the back. I just and that's like saying you'd give him 3 votes for that game. He was the best player. Caden Coleman was the best player in that game, in my opinion, for Brisbane. He dominated off halfback. Stopped the run of Carlton. He was linking up really well. He played really well.
Yeah.
Dunkley played really well in that game.
Yeah, Coleman was very good. His ball use out of halfback was
Just
elite.
because you're in a midfield and you're the superstar in your midfield doesn't mean every time you get the ball you forget about all the players that are surrounding you. Brett says I rewatched all of JHF's touches in that 3-vote game and it was laughable. You know what else is laughable? The AFL source.
Yeah, and the whole Brownlow system and the way it's currently employed, it's a complete joke. It needs an overhaul. It's not good enough. I think that it's time enough that the AFL takes it out of the umpires' hands and just lets them focus on that. They need to employ people that, obviously they're going to have people watching every games, or it could, and you know what I think it could even be? It could be that you don't even have the people giving the votes right there live. They actually watch the game, rewatch the game on a footage, and you might have a wide footage, you might have different angles of the game, and they rewatch the game and see which guys were the most influential and things like that, and they give the votes. Like, why does it need to be done right after the game by the umpires? Like, I just don't understand. It's not a fair system at all. It's completely terrible. Like, if when the game's like, say for instance, when the game is on the line, right, and a guy doesn't really have much impact, and then he goes and gets 10 or 12 touches in a fourth quarter when their team's 30 points up, and then racks up, all of a sudden he's ranked up 25 and maybe he's kicked 1 goal. Does that really consist when he's got nearly 40% of his touches in the last quarter when the game's done? Does it really consist of him being the best player? And then you've got a guy who kicks 5 or 6 goals up forward. 6 goals, maybe.
Yeah, it works out
and he doesn't get the 3 votes. Like, how does that work? That's what I'm saying. I just don't think the umpires are that attuned to understanding that when the players have gotten those touches, how did it really impact the game as much as it were they the deciding factor in turning the game? Like,
the other thing, if you move it away from that model and you move it into like an independent system, like you're saying, you actually might take into consideration the impact that a forward and a defender has on the game, and they'll actually poll more votes. Just because you get the ball a lot doesn't mean you use it really well.
Like, how about some of those games where guys in the halfback, they bomb it in there and they have 12, 14 intercept marks, and they end up having 25 touches, 14 intercept marks, 10 intercept marks, 14 marks for the game. Like, how do you not poll a vote as a defender when literally, say they've had 50 entries and 10 of those entries you're freaking marked in the 50? That means you're marking 20% of the ball that's going inside 50. You're dominating.
And you stop them 20% of the time. You stop them.
Single-handedly, you're stopping them 20% of the time. Like, you're having such influence on the game, but none of that is taken into account by the umpires.
Because if you, like you're saying, if you get all your possession at the end of the game source and you win the game based off of recency bias, because that's the last thing the umpires saw before the final siren's done, before they have to give the votes, of course that player is going to stick in their brain. Oh, he got the ball 8 times or 9 times, like, for example, in the last quarter. Oh, he dominated the game. And then they look at the sheet and they go, oh, he had 30 and he had 9 and he played really well in the last quarter. He had to be the best best player on the ground. That's not necessarily the way it works. So anyway, let's move on, Source. That was a bit of a rant there from both of us. I know everyone's talking about it, but it's freaking embarrassing, to be honest.
It's embarrassing.
Absolutely.
It is
so
a joke.
But we did have some prelim, Source, and we had a ripper on Friday night, and we had the Pies winning against the Giants by a point, 58-57. What a game.
They nearly got it done, the Giants. They nearly got it done. They probably should have had it done. They probably should have won that game. They played good enough. They did enough.
They did play good.
The AFL is thanking their lucky stars that it was, they didn't make it to the grand final, obviously. the crowd wouldn't have been probably as big. So they're probably happy that the Pies did make it. But nonetheless, it was a close game. It was a close game.
It was a very close game. And, Chera. Sorry. Global Saint check Chera. He had 2 votes, Adam Chera, this Brownlow. I thought he had a pretty good season, Adam Chera, in my opinion. But anyway, 2 votes. So, cop that. The other game, obviously, was set up, Source, after Friday night's win. We're all sitting there going, it is set up for Carlton-Collingwood Grand Final. Can it happen? There's not a lot of belief, obviously, in Brisbane playing in that home prelim final. They haven't lived up to it in the last few seasons. Brisbane get the job done. They haven't proved anyone wrong yet. They need a win on Saturday. But they made it, which is a start. They made it. The Blues started like a house on fire. They kicked 6 goals to 1 in the first quarter.
Yep. 5 goals in a row to start off the match.
And then they just... they hit
felt like a sack of spuds. They forgot how to move the ball from their defense to attack with any polish, cleanliness and polish. It just went away from them. They're bombing it in, bombing it long, getting stuck going down the line too much. Not taking on the play inside and getting it moving quick, switching the play. There was none of that. After the first quarter, it just went away. I mean, credit to Brisbane because they did ramp up their pressure and you got to expect that. You can't just expect that Brisbane's going to allow everything to go your way. I felt like Carlton were actually a bit softer at the ball after the first quarter, and they got caught out. And Brisbane got back into the game in the second quarter, and then after that, you never really felt like Carlton were in the game, did you? Brisbane they did let him kick a couple, but then Brisbane would respond, and they just kept him at that arm's length, and they got the job done in the end pretty comfortably.
They did, and it could have been a bloodbath in all honesty after that first quarter. They missed some golden opportunities, Brisbane. Charlie Cameron he probably should have kicked 5 in this game, to be honest. He pissed away a couple golden opportunities. So I think Carlton get away. That's a flattering scoreline for Carlton supporters at a 16-point loss, because it could have been easily 36-40 plus if Brisbane made most of those opportunities. In saying that, though, when they were missing those goals, when Mackay hit the post, if that goes in, we could be talking about a different game with the momentum swing with 10 minutes left. Who knows? Carlton probably could have done what they did against Melbourne the week before. They got that run and that momentum, and they carried it all the way through and got the job done. And it was set up for them to win by 2 points if they could get those goals. But put it this way.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think Carlton played up to the standard of some of the earlier games that they've played this season. Nowhere near that standard. And I mean, whether it was the occasion, whether it was the long season. I mean, you've seen Paddy Cripps, the bloke. He was battered and bruised, and he had the massive pad thing around his ribs. Who knows what's going on there?
He's had that for ages, though, Source. He's had that for ages. So I don't know. He's had it for a very long time. I think he had it pre-finals. I remember seeing him wearing that thing. So he's probably carried it the whole year. Yeah. He's just a bull, so and he just wants to get out there and play. Or maybe he's wearing it deliberately for protection, to protect his ribs. So, yeah. It sets up a huge grand final, Source. Collingwood versus Brisbane. Who have you got? This is the question. Who have you got? Pies or Lions with the Brownlow medalist?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting matchup, isn't it? It's going to be a big matchup of midfields. I don't know, man.
We've got to give a shout out to the Gowie in that Collingwood game.
Mate, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say, I said it's built for a guy like the Gowie to come out and play one of those games again. Because if he actually pulls out that sort of performance, because guys could not tackle him, and he was.
It's one of the best games. It's one of the best
It was
individual
unreal.
finals performances. It was
And he was
fantastic
on the
to
bench
watch.
for the last 8 minutes. They couldn't
I
get him
know.
on, mind you, and they got the job done in the end. But it would have been disastrous if they did lose and he was stuck on the bench that whole time at the end of the game. But yeah, it's built for a guy like the Goey to just come out and step up massively. But look, I have to go. If I'm actually going to bet on this game, I can't not bet on Collingwood. You're playing at the G. You're playing, in front of your
In front
your
of
home deck.
17,000 supporters.
Yeah, Doma, that's complete rubbish because we know what's going to happen. What always happens is because it's in Melbourne, the Pies Army, man, I know friends of mine, Pies, willing to pay up to $1,000, $1,500 to tickets. You got standing room tickets, people willing to pay freaking $1,000 for a freaking standing room, right? Mate, people are nuts. The Pies fans, they'll get there and it will be, honestly, it will be a solid 55,000, 60,000 will be Pies fans. I'll comfortably say that. There'll probably be a solid amount of neutral, but I'd say a solid 50,000 will be Pies fans, and they'll get the job done. They'll get the job done. I feel like the Pies will win on their home deck, but I do want to see the Brisbane Lions wins. I'd rather actually see the Lions win than Pies. But if I'm to bet on the game, I've got to go with the Pies.
Your boy McSpray obviously is out, so they've got to replace him with a forward or somebody.
McSpray.
I don't know. You're putting a lot of reliance on. It's literally small ball. It's like small ball versus like a normal built AFL side. Like
All right,
Danaher.
Yeah, I understand that.
Danaher,
But the
Hipwood,
difference is
Rayner,
they've got the
Cameron.
quality of ball users in that midfield when you got the going through their Pendlebury, Dacos brothers, side bottom, that they can actually hit up passes and they're actually can have good ball use, quality ball use going.
But they got good defense. They got a great defense, Brisbane, with Andrews and McKenna.
Well, you just got to not get sucked into dominating in there long because you do that, you're playing right into their hands.
I'm tipping Brisbane.
You got what probably Ash Johnson, has he been playing? He probably comes in if he's
he
fit,
probably comes in. Yeah, he hasn't been playing, but he probably would come in. I'm tipping Brisbane. I'm going against the Pies. I can't believe I'm doing it. I can't believe I'm tipping Brisbane. But
look, I want Brisbane to win. I'll tell you this right now. But if I'm to bet on the game, I've got to go with the Pies. But I want Brisbane to take it out. I really do. I'd rather them win. It just be more. It just make my life more enjoyable. Obviously, having to be in Melbourne with all the Pies fans, it will be a bit nuts. So,
and obviously, coming as an Essendon supporter, I don't think you ever want to see Collingwood win. So,
hey, all I'll say is I've been to a lot of Essendon Collingwood games and had to deal with some absolute peanut Pies supporters. So, and look, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's peanut Essendon supporters. People probably think I'm a peanut Essendon supporter. I
was going to say, you are probably an Essendon peanut supporter. So,
there's a lot more Pies peanut supporters out there, let me just tell you. I'm a very non-biased. I'll tell you right now, we are shit.
Quina versus Cameron.
We are shit.
Tobias got clothesline. Dacos gets kissed on his little, you know what. Taylor Adam is out. That's correct. The question is, how many days in a row will Jordan De Goey be awake for if they win it? I'm tipping a 5-day bender. Well, I'll tell you what, he's going straight back to Bali. I'll tell you what, he won't be putting his phone away if he's doing any recordings this time around with the premiership medal if they get the job done. Anyway, it's a big one, 2:30 Saturday. Tune in. It's going to be a ripper regardless of where it goes. Chris says Brisbane by 7 points. It's his tip. I'm going Lions, Sauce is going Pies, and we'll find out next week on Tuesday who was right and who was wrong. So let's move on, Sauce. EPL, let's get straight into it. The results from the week, we had Seed defeating Forest 2-0, Wolves 1-1 with Luton, Fulham and Crystal Palace 0-0. Everton beat the Bees 3-1. Great win by the Toffees. Man United back on the winners winners list. We beat Burnley 1-0. I don't know how proud I am of that, but it's a win nonetheless. Liverpool defeat West Ham 3-1 after being 1-0 down in this one. Chelsea's season goes from bad to worse. They had a red card in this, and Aston Villa beat them 1-0. Bournemouth lose to Brighton 3-1. Sheffield get absolutely slapped by Newcastle 8-0. And then, obviously, the biggest game of the round was the London Derby, and it was a 2-2 draw between Arsenal and Ange Ball's Tottenham Hotspurs. And we're going to just cover that game, Source, because it was a ripper. So, your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, look, a ripper if you're a Tottenham fan, and not so much of a ripper if you're an Arsenal fan. You take the lead twice in the game, you give up the lead twice. Both goals that you give up, absolutely terrible defending mistakes. And you give up the goals, especially the second one after we just taken the lead. Not even a minute later, 2 minutes later, Jorginho, he dilly-dallies on the ball, had 2-3 options to pass the ball, tries a little drag back, gets caught on it. Maddison plays in Son with a great finish. Look, what can I say? I mean, credit to Tottenham, and you knew they weren't going to go away, and you knew they had the quality, and you've seen they've had the quality to get back into games, and especially with the way they've started the season, they've got that belief, and credit to them. I think that they keep playing the way they're playing and going this way. There are going to be probably games where they might cop a hiding here and there because they play a very open style, and it'll be interesting to see when that game comes up against City how they fare and stuff like that. But it was a game that, we outplayed them in the first 30 minutes. We did deserve the lead. Then they had their bit of run in the second end of the first half. They got the equalising goal, which is obviously off another Arsenal mistake where we gave up possession in a bad area of the ground and were punished for it. It was just poor by Arsenal. And the second goal just killed us, man. And I'll say something right now. Arteta's, I can already see some mistakes Arteta's done. Bringing in Havertz was just a waste of $60 million. The guy's a peanut. He's got nothing. He's got nothing, Dom. He can't dribble. He can't dribble past the player. He's got no real, ability to glide and go past the player. He's so soft on the ball, gets pushed off it so easy. Man, every time I've seen him have a shot, it's not even close. It's literally it goes over the bar by an absolute mile. So I don't know where there is any quality in this guy to be a forward. And it's not like I've seen him be able to actually cross and provide for other guys. So what does he actually do? All he does is, run, chase, tackle, goes in hard, cops yellow cards. Other than that, the bloke's useless. He's absolutely useless. A waste of 60 million. Well done, Chelsea. Thank you, Manny, for giving us an absolute dud. You happy about that? And I had a bit of trust in Arteta, but that one just killed me. I mean, Jorginho, not so much, even though he made a bad mistake, and we're going to need that depth. But geez, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. No Declan Rice, Partey's out. We're now forced to play Jorginho now in that midfield.
So what happened to Declan Rice in that game? Because he was very quiet, man.
Yeah, I think maybe he had a bit of a niggle, and they've decided either just because it's not like he ran out the half and stuff, right? So
yeah,
maybe it was a precautionary thing where they've taken him off just to make sure maybe they might give him a week off. We've obviously got an EFL Cup game, a Premier League game this week against Bournemouth as well. So then they'll probably rest him for those games.
Bulk up.
Probably try get him back for the next Champions League fixture and so on.
Mate, we just want to see. All we care about is seeing more of this guy. This is what you paid your money for.
He's so crap.
That's what you paid 60 million for, this Lemon. Look at him. Have a look at him. That's how he plays on the field. Oh, that's elite.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Obviously
credit to Tottenham in the way they fought back, and good finishes by Son. Both his opportunities he got, he was clinical. He was clinical.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this week's game, Source. Starting on the 30th, all the way to the 3rd of October. We've got Villa Brighton, Bournemouth versus Arsenal, Everton Luton. We got Manchester United versus Crystal Palace this week. That's at home at Old Trafford. Arsenal's away this week. Newcastle against Burnley, West Ham versus Sheffield, Wolves City, Tottenham versus Liverpool Source. That's a
Big
ripper.
game. Yep.
Nottingham versus Brentford and Fulham versus Chelsea. And then I think there's a round 2 catch-up game on the 4th before the next pod, which is Luton versus Burnley in that one. So that's a catch-up round.
Yeah, Luton's got to play a couple of catch-up games. Obviously, their stadium is still getting renovated at the start of the season, so they'll have
we had Champions League last week, Saucy, as well. Arsenal defeated PSV 4-0. Bayern Munich 4-3 winners over Manchester United. Not making any comments there. In my opinion, it was 4-0. We didn't deserve the goals. We kicked some jammy goals. So they actually destroyed us. Benfica lose to Salzburg 2-0. Napoli defeat Braga 2-1. Sociedad and Inter 1-1. Sevilla versus Lens 1-1. Galatasaray versus Copenhagen 2-2. Madrid beat Union Berlin 1-0. Barcelona slap Antwerp 5-0. Feyenoord defeat Celtic 2-0. Celtic had 2 red cards in this source. Lazio versus Atletico Madrid 1-1. City over Crvena Zvezda 3-1. PSG defeat Dortmund 2-0. Porto defeat Shakhtar 3-1. AC Milan and Newcastle 0 draw. And Young Boys defeated by Leipzig 3-1. I think that's all the games.
Yeah, I think next round of fixtures are in about 10 days' time, or I think. Is that right?
No. 4th.
2 weeks' time?
So, yeah, next week. On
week,
Wednesday and Thursday. So we will cover them on the show next week on Tuesday. So, and of course, can't finish the soccer segment, the football segment without, of course, an update on a top 5 league on the planet in the Saudi Pro League. And we'll start with the biggest game of the week, which was Al Nassr versus Al Ahly. And Ronaldo scores twice in this one to defeat Al Ahly 4-3. Big win for them. Al Wahda defeat Abba 4-0. And the Aussie Craig Goodwin got on the score sheet in this one, Saucy, which is good to see. Big Goodwin. Al Khalij defeat Al Aqdoud 1-0. Al Fayha defeat Al Riyadh 3-1. Al Shabab defeat Al Hazem 4-1. Al Ittihad defeat Al Fateh 2-1. If you haven't seen N'Golo Kante's goal from this game, do yourself a favor and have a look, because it was an absolute banger. Al Ettifaq defeat Al Tay 4-3. They're starting to put together some great football as well, that team, under the guidance of Steven Gerrard. Al Tawun defeat Al Raid 2-1. And then the surprise result was Al Hilal 1-1 with Damak. So a bit of a surprise result there for Al Hilal. The games this week: Al Fayha versus Al Ittihad, Al Hazem versus Al Tawun, Al Tay versus Al Nassr, Al Hilal versus Al Shabab. That's a bit of a danger game again for Al Hilal. They're going to get their form running. Abba, Al Riyadh, Al Fateh, Al Wahda. That's going to be a good game. Al Raid, Al Aqdoud, Al Khalij, Damak, and game of the round, Penn Al Ahly on the feature game again this week against Al Ettifaq. So that will be an absolute ripper, that game. So tune in for that. And obviously, Cup games were played this morning. 5-0 at Nassr. Ronaldo didn't even play, mate. They just put on the clinic. So easy. All right, so let's move on to the F1. And, you know, after a hiccup last week by Max Verstappen,
back to usual
GP,
proceedings.
Back to usual. Didn't win by 20 seconds, just 19.3 against Lando Norris in second. But the awesome result, first podium finish, the Aussie Oscar Piastri, third. Fantastic result for him. Charles Leclerc in fourth, Lewis Hamilton in fifth. Then we had Sainz, Russell, Alonso, Ocon, and Gasly in 10th. The New Zealander Lawson is driving the wheels off this car at the moment. He finished in 11th. He outplaced his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, which is always good to see. Joe Guan Yu, we don't care about the rest, to be honest. DNFs, Albon, Sargent, Stroll, once again, Stroll in a DNF, Bottas, and Sergio Perez. The car had a lot of issues sourced, like when he was driving it, and they didn't want to risk it. He had steering problems, so called it quits. They sent him out probably 7 laps behind just to test the car. They were going to just drive him through probably 10 laps just to see, obviously, diagnostics on the car, what the problem was. And he got halfway through that first diagnostic lap, and he came on the radio, he said, I'm coming in, we've got to retire the car. Like, he couldn't even steer it properly. He goes, no, this is no good. We've got to retire it. So it's dangerous. So they did the right thing. They retired it. Verstappen wins, gets another one, and funnily enough, has wrapped up the Constructors' Championship for Red Bull with 2, 4, 6 races left. They've already won the Constructors. So
Absolute domination.
So he's on 400 championship points, Max Verstappen. 400.
It's got to be some sort of record, no?
I think 227 is the second most behind him. So effectively, I think, what's that? 25, 150.
By the end
I think if he wins the Qatar race, he wins the world title with 5 races left, or if he wins the United States race in Vegas. Anyway, if he wins the next 2 races, he's world champion with 4 races left.
That's unreal.
It's a joke. So
he's dominated. He's absolutely dominated this season.
Yeah. No race this week coming. We'll cover it the next one, which is on the 9th of October. So next week we'll preview that race, which will be the Qatar Grand Prix. All right, Source, we're almost there. NFL, the results this week, starting from Giants defeated by San Francisco, Bills defeat Commanders, New England defeat Jets, Chargers defeat Vikings. Dolphins 70-20 over the Broncos.
Absolute shellacking.
You don't see 70 put up in the NFL very often.
Oh, I think it was the 3rd or 4th time ever. I think I read somewhere.
So unreal. Jacksonville lose to Houston. Green Bay defeat the Saints. Detroit defeat the Falcons. Cleveland over Tennessee. Baltimore lose to the Colts.
That's
Panthers.
A terrible loss.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible loss.
At home. Terrible loss by the Ravens.
It was in overtime too. Seahawks defeat Panthers. Chiefs smack the Bears by 31. Cardinals get a big win over the Cowboys. Pittsburgh defeat Raiders. Philly defeat the Buccaneers. And Cincy get on the winners list, defeating the Rams today by 3. So a few interesting results there. Source of the games this week. Packers, Lions, Jags, Falcons, Bills, Dolphins. That's a big one. Panthers, Vikings, Bears, Broncos, Browns, Ravens, Texans, Steelers, Colts, Rams, Saints, Buccaneers, Eagles, Commanders, Titans, Bengals, Chargers, Raiders, Cowboys, Patriots, 49ers, Cardinals, Jets, Chiefs, and Giants, Seahawks. Tell you what, you know who's regretting not taking all those Tua rookie cards right about now? And it's yours truly. So anyway, he's improved and good on him. It is my team, so I don't really give a shit.
Who was the what was the draft? Was it Herbert was first? He was 3rd, was he? Tua?
Yeah, 3rd or 4th in that draft, I think.
Oh, he could just be actually better than Mr. Herbert. I don't know. Maybe he might be.
To a draft.
Could be Burrow and Tua, not Burrow and Herbert like people thought. I mean, he's proving that he's quality. I mean, have a look at his passing stats, and people are saying he couldn't throw the long ball. Well, he's dispelled that bullshit because he's thrown some absolute bombs.
It was funny because they were giving all the props to Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill came out and he goes, "Mate, it's my quarterback that's giving me the ball." He's like, "I'm making the play, but I've got to get the service to make the play." He's like, he's giving me the service. That's why I'm getting the touchdowns. Pick 5, Brett said. Brett also said Max wins. He passes Seb for 3rd all-time wins.
Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, just stop and read that. Listen to that again. That's just ridiculous. And Sebastian Vettel's come and gone. He's retired. Like, and the fact that Max is doing this is
Max is not even in his prime yet.
He's not even, yeah, this is just ridiculous.
Brett pick 5, 2020 for Tour. That draft was Joey Burrow pick 1, Chase Young 2, Jeff Okuda 3, Andrew Thomas 4. Tour was 5th. Justin Herbert was pick 6 in that draft source.
6, there you go.
So he was picked ahead of Justin Herbert. There's no other. CD Lamb was in there. Jerry Jeudy, Justin Jefferson, good player. Jordan Love was in that draft. He was picked 26. Jonathan Taylor was picked 41 in the second round source. Jonathan Taylor. Fuck. That's a steal. He's a gun. Trevon Diggs was in that, who just did his knee from fucking the Cowboys. They're so unlucky, man. Jalen Hurts, second round, pick 53 in that draft.
There you go. That was the sleeper.
That was the sleeper source right there. That was the sleeper. What's happening, Jay? How's your boy at Chicago going at the quarterback position, Justin Fields? Brett said Max is 26 on Saturday. That's unbelievable.
That's ridiculous.
Let us know how happy you are about that one, Jay.
It is 25. That's just unreal.
Yeah. Tell us about Justin Fields. The funny thing about
Herbert,
yeah, he's not a fan of Herbert, Burrow. Anyone that's not named Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't care. NBL starts this week. Some absolutely huge youngsters coming down to play this season. Bustin' Justin is the biggest dud in the NFL, says Jay. I think he's talking about Justin Fields and Justin Herbert.
both.
All right. Done and dusted sauce. Over to you for some UFC, and then we'll get into some hobby talk.
Doma, UFC on the weekend. We had UFC Fight Night, Rafael Vizev against Matthias Gamrot. But before we jump into that, this segment is sponsored by Roll Clean Soap, #1 in Australian MMA, BJJ, and martial arts hygiene. Make sure you head down there. I'm not even going to tell you this. I'm pretty sure they got 30% off at the moment. So just go there, www.rollclean.com.au, and I'm pretty sure everything is 30% off. So head down there, check it out. They got heaps of product they need. They're doing a bit of a clearance sale, so head down there. Everything's 30% off, and yeah, get yourself some fresh soaps and smell absolutely beautiful.
And on that sauce, just quickly, big happy birthday to Matty Tabe, part of the Roll Clean team. It was his birthday yesterday, I'm pretty sure. So happy birthday, big fella. Hope you had an absolute ripper, and hopefully Kat didn't whip your ass. She left you off the hook for once as your birthday present. So all the best, mate, and hope you had a great day. All right, Saucy, give us the rundown. What's happening?
I'll run you through the main card, what happened, how it went down. You had the main card. Hang on. Where does it go here? Down to here. In the main card, Ricardo Ramos defeated by Charles Jourdain in the featherweight division by a submission. And then you had Brian Battle defeated AJ Fletcher with a submission in the welterweight division. You had Marina Rodriguez defeated Michelle Watson Gomez by KO in the women's strawweight division. And then featherweight, you had Bryce Mitchell defeating Danny Ing with a points decision, went the distance. And then a light weight bout, you had Matthias Gamrot with a TKO over Rafael Vizev. I think it was he broke his leg, Vizev, either by a block kick or something of that nature or whatever. But yeah, his leg broke or gave way. I think it was a bunch of kicks and a bit of a combo of stuff. And his leg gave way and he broke his leg, and Gamrot won the fight. So yeah, it was it was a pretty good card. I hope anyone tuned in enjoyed the fights. There is no card this week, so yeah, the next card is on the 8th of October. So make sure you wait for that one, which is headlined by Dawson and Green at the Apex in Las Vegas. But yeah, obviously the cards are small and thin picking until the next big card, which is, we look forward to October the 22nd, which is Makhachev versus Oliveira. So that will be the next big main card. But nonetheless, that's the UFC done for another week. And
nice shout out for, well, not that he listens to this show, but to people that do listen to this show. Francis Ngannou was on the Joe Rogan podcast this week. And if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it, because Joe Rogan actually asked him about the contract situation, the PFL situation, how he's got into the situation now with Tyson Fury to fight him in Saudi. He just a little bit of a teaser, so you can go listen to it. The PFL is actually keen for him to go fight cross promotion in the UFC against John Jones. They're happy for it to happen, the PFL. Even if it's not for the belt. And Ngannou said, I don't care about the belt. He said it's about the fight. He said it'd be the biggest fight in the history of the company. And he goes, belt or no belt, whoever wins it is the best heavyweight ever. Like, that's what Joe Rogan was saying.
That's true.
Yeah. And the PFL is keen for it. So he's pretty much trying to say the ball is in the
PFL's
UFC's
keen. The
court.
PFL's saying, let's move that straight to Saudi Arabia and get that dollar. That dollar.
100%.
Hey, that's what they'll be thinking.
So there's a bit of a teaser. Go listen to it. It's unbelievable. About his contract, the way he tried to negotiate it. Yep, the way they cooked him. Like, it's a crazy listen, man. Crazy listen. I know we're getting just Ngannou's side of it, but we also got Dana's side of it. He publicly announced his feelings about Ngannou in that situation. And Francis said that, just go listen to it. It's pretty interesting. Very interesting. But he's keen for that super fight to go ahead in the UFC. He's keen for it. So there you go. All right, Sauce, let's get into hobby talk. Where are we going to start, mate? There's a bit's been happening. Not much has been happening, but we've got to give our weekly card porn update, Sauce, because there's
Juanito?
There's people in the realms of this hobby that obviously create content that are saying that he's in the Philippines now, that they got given his phone number and they called it and it went to Cherry Collectibles or Grayson or some shit. Man, this just sounds like this. It doesn't sound like it. It just looks like this. It just looks like this, Sauce. It just looks like Leonardo DiCaprio from Catch Me If You Can. I think it's got to the point where no one actually has any idea what's going on. They're talking about RICO. What's the RICO equivalent in Australia to catch this guy? In all honesty, if you're talking in Australia, because a lot of this stuff, like, I know he put the scam on, but he didn't sell the stuff. He didn't do all that type of stuff. We're talking about like boxes of cards, too. I understand he's scamming people and it is illegal. I'm not saying what he's done is the right thing, but in terms of grand scheme of things, when it comes to like our authorities looking into this stuff, this is like nothing. And if you put it into grand scheme of things, when you go over to the United States, it is like such a minor thing compared to like all the other shit that happens in terms of drug trafficking and all that type of scamming people out of hundreds of millions of dollars. Like the MGM got hacked during the week, stuff like that. Like Brett said, I heard that Juanito is also responsible for Cherry's absurd single prices on eBay.
No, can confirm. I've asked Grayson about that. That is definitely them. But don't feel bad about lowballing them, because I've actually told people at Hobby Hangout on numerous occasions, make sure you lowball Cherry on eBay. So don't feel bad about it. Just lowball.
You got to ask the price, mate. Did you guys watch the super fight between Rod Tang and Super Lek? No, I didn't, but I heard it was coming up. I didn't realize it was this the weekend that just passed. But yeah, Sauce, it's turned into it. it's genuinely turned into a wild goose chase. That's what it's turned into now. We've got all the information in the first 2 weeks. We obviously got the McDonald's story from Sydney. We got pictures of him, and now it's just gone cold.
I'm getting crickets. Look,
It's just funny. It's just funny, Sauce, because the reporter that is reporting on it is an actual, like, he's got credentials as a reporter. And then we got people in the space, which is fine. It's all good to report on this, and I get that. But there's so many people that want to be able to break the story or piggyback off Ravel. Like, it's just funny. So now we're literally just grasping at straws. We take anything at the moment because it's gone so quiet. We'll take anything like a phone number that they're being given. You've been given the phone number. Who's your source? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know,
like,
you give it. So just because it goes through, and it happens to be Grayson or goes to the Cherry store, doesn't mean that it's them. Man, I could have just said, "Oh, here's a phone number," and they'll call, and it's Source, and Source picks up, and they're like, "Is this card porn?" And he goes, "Lemon!" That's what he does, and he just hangs up the phone. Like, seriously, what are we dealing with? Anyway, it's actually becoming comedic now. So it's got to
I think we're gonna have to get his face, and we're gonna have to Photoshop it onto the Where's Wally, and we're just gonna have to bring it up. Where's Juanito?
That's great. That's great. I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna put it as our new background on our template here. You're gonna try and find him. Oh, Jay says the reporter dropped the story due to hitting a brick wall. Old news. Sorry, folks. Move on. Magda said, any Le Mans yet? No Le Mans. There hasn't been Le Mans for a few weeks.
Yeah, I was close to giving one to the umpires of the Brownlow medal, but I think the whole of Australia is in disbelief at the moment with the whole situation regarding the Brownlow medal. So it wouldn't be out of the blue.
Yeah. Other news source. We forgot to talk about it last week, unfortunately, but select AFL Legacy. Bang, there you go. Saucy's secured himself a box.
Whoa! I didn't forget this time, ladies and gentlemen. I got myself a box, picked one up. Select Legacy. Look out for the box rip on the channel. I'll be ripping it and getting absolutely nothing, or hitting the triple Dacos auto. Which,
you know what we should do, Sauce? You know what we should do? I don't know what you're doing Saturday morning, but Grand Final day, Saturday morning, we should just jump on and do a live and rip it live.
Actually, that's actually a good idea. Let's try.
Grand Final.
I've got a barbecue right to go to for the Grand Final, so it's going to have to be in the morning.
Yeah, we'll do it like first thing in the morning.
It's good.
I've got a wedding the night before, so you might get me seedy on stream too. So
yeah, that's all right. That's it's Grand Final day. You can bet. That's where you just crack one straight in the morning 100%. And keep it going.
Get those 196s down my throat. Here we go. Sauce taking Mackay. Jay says Dan Andrews is card porn.
Yeah, that's why he's resigning.
Yeah, Magda says open the box live. Yes, I think that's what it's looking like. Source Grand Final opening. And if anyone wants to donate a Legacy box to Double Coverage, feel free to contact us. We can rip a couple boxes, mate. Feel free to donate, like donate the box. We'll rip it for you. Obviously, you keep your cards, but if you want to have more content, we might as well just do a dodgy like Nubs. I'll swap it with some dud ones from my one, and we won't give him the good cards. We'll hit the triple Dacos order and we'll swap it out, like an old Nubsy done on that little dodgy wheel thing that he done. Yeah, well, we'll get back our brakes involved, and we'll be all over it. So
we'll sell the spots for $4,000 a spot, mate.
Don't worry, I'll rewrap those. I saved myself some BBC wrap, and I might rewrap those
Hey,
boxes.
I'll cut this open really, really precisely with a
save it.
scalpel, and we'll rewrap it. Put GR Joe cards in there.
Jay says, ring Raoul for car pawn's phone number. Open the box with him, that Nubs grifter, and the old mate Shiny Boy.
Old mate Matty Allen, Director of Assets at Liquid Marketplace. Mate, Director of Assets, mate. Mind you, I watched that video, Doma. I watched the whole video, the Rattle Pokemon video, right?
Which we told everyone last week to watch.
Yes, if you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring it up here just because I want to show people that the right video. Where is it? It's quite the lengthy one. It's about 40 minutes. Where is it? Oh, there we go. All right, let me bring that up. Let me go back. Here it is. Right, this is the one.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa, what's happened there? Okay, that's not what's supposed to happen. There we go. That's the right one. Where did all the money go from Logan Paul's Liquid Marketplace? And this is one of the. This is so crazy. This is so crazy, and it's so obvious what's going on here. It's so obvious, and I actually can't believe that old mate, Matty Allen, Shine, also known as Shine in the hobby,
also known by Jay as the director of Kilo Blocks from Peru.
Right.
Brett says brilliant video. Girlfriend 2 looks expensive.
Oh man, it just absolutely crazy. Like if that is not the biggest complete rort of that is just robbery. What they're doing, they're just sucking in people, getting them to invest in this. This startup NFT marketplace. They invest all this money. He's got these what's supposed to be these influencers in Logan Paul and Shine and other guys on the payroll, apparently paying him whatever $12,000 a month. Apparently Shine was getting paid, right? And then he was getting paid to source cards to bring on the platform so they can tokenize them and, sell the tokens to people on the platform. But they're bringing cards onto the platform. They weren't even tokenizing them, selling tokens that weren't even actually blockchain tokens of what was supposed to happen, which was each card was supposed to get fragmented into a certain amount of tokens on the blockchain and then sell off each token to each person, and they own that portion of tokens of the total amount. It's just right. Nothing was happening. Rattle goes into it and just goes into what's actually going on here. And they had family members as directors, CEOs, and whatever, and they're paying off their family members. They got Matty Allen as the director of assets, right? And it's just absolutely crazy. They've just sucked in these people to invest in this money, sucked in people to buy NFTs on the platform, and pretty much drained all the funding. The organizer Ryan has been paying out. He's been like buying Porsches, buying $150,000 cars, buying freaking $200,000 diamond rings, and just siphoning the money out of the company by buying items, and pretty much just draining the money and stealing it. Just crazy.
Magda says Logan fraud. Logan is a WWE wrestler too by night. How about the website XP says Brett? It just happens to be all their guys that are in there with the XP for buying off that platform. Jay says, is that Pitbull? Brett says it's discount Dave Bautista.
That's a good one.
This story is how funny was the part when he calls Ryan up, Rattle, at like 1 a.m. It was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, but not even that. He calls him the next day, the second time, and he gives him some generic answer, say send us an email, and hangs up the phone on him. So straight
They'll
away,
put-
you don't want to even speak about it or nothing, mate. They know exactly what they're doing, and look, it's pretty crazy because I feel like it's sad because the ramifications for these guys, I don't think it's going to be a hell of a lot. I think it's just going to be like it's going to be a failed company startup. They're going to file for bankruptcy. Bang, bang, bang. They own all of these nice items,
Still hasn't
cars,
paid out.
Porsches, all this sort of stuff.
Still hasn't
mate,
paid out on
who cares?
Crypto Zoo.
They've bought all these luxury items. If they want the money back, they just sell the luxury item. Bang, there you go. I've just got $100,000, $120,000 for a Porsche that I bought off stealing people's money who bought tokens on my site. Like, it's just absolute nuts, man. Absolute
Crypto
nuts.
Zoo was the same thing. Haven't paid out anyone back for Crypto Zoo.
And I'll be honest with you, like, there's no liability for Logan Paul. Logan Paul would just be like, oh, like, he doesn't even respond. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't even acknowledge it. He's moved on to his next thing. He doesn't acknowledge it. He just moves on to something else, tries to sucker people in some other way. Man, just be wary, yeah. Like, these people, and I even said it. I even said it like, look at someone like, that people do look up to more than obviously Logan Paul, because Logan Paul's a bit of a peanut. But, like someone like Steph Curry, yeah, just because he was behind FTX, right, doesn't mean it was a great platform and you should put all your money into FTX and start trading cryptos on FTX. Look what happened there. And he was like one of the major sponsors. Yeah. So these people,
And
they just look at it
and
as,
he was buying,
this is a business deal. This is a business deal. They're giving me money in exchange for my face, right? Okay, I'm going to take it. Doesn't mean that they've looked into the actual company. They've looked into the ethics of the company. They've looked into the ethics of what's going on there. That's up to you as the consumer to not be a dickhead and follow these rich and famous people, right? Whoever they are, whoever they might be, whether it's a basketballer, whether it's a freaking, Logan Paul, a wrestler, YouTuber, whatever he goes down as, whoever they are, you got to take things at face value. Not be emotional about it, and be rational about it, and analyze, look into shit before you fucking waste your money, because these guys, you don't understand. Once they're at that power where they've got money and they can be like, yeah, I've got millions and millions, I can invest and throw 100,000 at this project. I can throw 50,000 at this project. I can throw 200,000 at this project. They got the money to do that. And all they need is one in those 4 projects to hit, and all of a sudden they've got $1 million return on investment, and bang, they've turned that 300,000-400,000 they've invested. There's $1 million, boom, they've made $500,000. It's not that easy for you, for people down the bottom end that don't just have can throw money into a bunch of different investments, that have to look and actually, study and be precise with what they're going to do, not just fucking throw all my money into this, Like with Prime, mate, he's probably just got like a call up. Yeah, let's throw our money in Prime. Boom, KSI, them together. Massive marketing campaign. It's a piece of shit product. If you've tried Prime, it's absolutely shit. You never choose Prime over Gatorade.
It's not even a hydration drink.
Right? It's a piece of shit. It's absolutely crap, right? It's just nothing. I actually rather drink Cotty's cordial with water than fucking Prime. Straight out. It's actually putrid.
You know what it is?
Right?
It's the refractor version. It's a refractor version of sports drinks, because it's shiny. Everyone, and like neon colors. Everyone just like is attracted by it. Outside of the fact that obviously they're massive YouTube influencers and content creators, it's actually proven it's not a hydration drink at all. At all. And that's what it's marketed as, a hydration drink, and it's partnered up with some of the biggest sporting clubs in the world.
Mate, I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but all this, the labeling and all this crap you see in supermarkets, it's in that. It's all fudge, mate. It's all fudge. They can get away with so much crap. They can get away with so much crap with their labeling and make it seem like that's what it's for. But when it's actually, put through the ringer and studied and put in tests, a lot of these items, mate, they fucking half the shit don't even do what they say they're supposed to do. So you got to take a lot of things with a grain of salt and be wiser with your choices with that shit.
And as Saul said, when it comes to who invests and who's involved in things and stuff like that, you have guys like Steph Curry that promote the product. That's one thing. But then when you got certain people that are on the board involved with the product that scams the people, you should be trying to connect the dots. Now, I'm going to say it once because I'm honestly, Source, I think you're as sick as I am of just saying, like, I know everyone's put everything on card porn. Just think this actually all connects. This is why I'm saying this. I know he's copping all the flack, and rightly so, he should be. But just he's not just he's a bit of a scapegoat to mask some of the other bullshit. Because if you got certain people like this that are involved in projects that are scamming people, and those certain people are in the same room with certain other people, and then certain other people involved in big companies in the sports card space, all right? We're not talking about, all right? I'm just saying. You
Connect
think
them
it
dots,
is all,
ladies and gentlemen.
the problem
Connect
is
them
you
dots.
think, like, this is talking to everyone that listens to this podcast now, all right? This might sound like some Alex Jones conspiracy theorist thing, but in all honesty, right, you think everything is well in the hobby. We are telling you, based on great information, it is not all well. And we've said this for the last 2 years. And we'll write about Juanito. It is what it is. But just saying, all right, you think it's all good and well in the hobby. We're telling you it's not. And we can only lead you to the well, the water with the well with the water. It's, if you drink from it, you do research and you go have a look. So there's a few people that backflipped in the last month in terms of their content creation and what they put out there, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. So Jay said, when his old mate Shiny Boy bringing out a drink. I don't know. You tell us. He's probably director of assets at Prime. Brett, I'm not bringing up that comment. That's very, very funny. But Jay says, by day I drink cotties, by night I swindle your money through Prime. So there you go. Saucy, you said you watched some of our mate Dan the Card Man, some of his videos. I am not up to date with Dan's stuff at the moment. I'm probably a couple behind, so I will have to catch up on that.
Poor form, Doma. All right.
Give me a spell. Get out
that's
of here.
all right. That's all right.
What do we got?
Well, that's why you've got me, because I had a bit of time today. So I just
Influencers
and you know I don't watch anything on other than less than 2x speed. So you know, although Dan's videos are 11 minutes, it only takes me 5.5. This one here, very interesting video. He talks about it, and it's something that I actually very much agree with, and why I've told you, and why we call one of the biggest sports card hobby influencer, the biggest lemon on the planet, and that is Mr. Jeff Wilson. He is an absolute lemon, and we've called him a lemon multiple times. But in this video, Dan the Card Man, hang on, I've clicked the wrong one. Dan the Card Man. Shit, this one. There we go. Why your favorite sports card influencer sucks. Go watch it. He makes some great points. He talks about, people that have now grown to such a big following, and you've got other people in this space that look up to them and follow the things that they do, and there's really when they. For instance, he used Mojo Sports as an example. Mojo Sports, endorsed certain people and endorsed Mark's cards and said he was really good. It's family business, da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, what happened with Mark's cards, and that went to shit. And, you get him sort of clapping back at people in Instagram comments, and you got to be mindful. I mean, when you've got 50,000 followers, when you've got a large following, I mean, it does matter the way that you or what companies and things you endorse, because people will follow it, and although people do need to make their minds to themselves, and we've said this a number of times in our show, and especially when sheep were just following Gary V and getting absolutely burnt in terms of buying the card after Gary V posted, and it runs up, and you got all these other people selling into the post from Gary V, and all these people buying it, and we're just saying, mate, you know, you need to be mindful. Like, you need to be mindful. And I think it was, you know, and it's funny because, you know, obviously Gary spoke to that point when he had that interview with the Sports Card Nonsense, you know, saying, yeah, he used to at the National that he would post stuff and, you know, he'd cop shit for posting stuff, what he's buying and what he's not buying. So there is a fine line as well. But also you need to be, you got to be more, I mean, just more of a leader in the space, I guess. You know, when things do happen, when stuff happens, like, you know, a lot of things have happened in this hobby, and when it comes to like companies stuffing up products, issues with products, you know, tops having multiple one of ones out there, you know, just a lot of stuff has gone has happened, and you know, no one's being held accountable, and this is where, you know, you got certain like people. I mean, we talk about it, Doma, but I mean, with our measly 360 subscribers, it's not really going to get anywhere. But when you got people that have a significant following, like 50,000, that could actually say something and actually, you know, have a wide reach in the space, and, you know, maybe influence some of these larger companies to make a change for the better, for the betterment of people who are funding this hobby, putting their hard-earned money into this hobby, right? So we can get better results from the manufacturers, from, you know, other businesses in the hobby, to make the experience better for the collectors, better for the people at the end user, which is you and I, Doma, right? Which is people that listen to this show, that collect cards, that, you know, collect sets, that, you know, buy and sell as I do, but then, you know, have certain things that we PC, right? And that's what it should be about. But unfortunately, it isn't. And these influencers aren't using their ability to positively influence these larger and big companies. And I'm really, really worried that with the monopoly that is coming, I mean, Fanatics is now taking WWE. They're now, look, it's before you know it, it's UFC is going to be there as well. All right, that's happening. All right, I'm just telling you right now. I don't know for fact. I've got no report, but I'm just telling you that it's going to happen. Right. I got no report. I got no inside word. You know, but I'm reporting it here first before Rovell reports it on this date, 26th of the 9th, 2023 at 9:45 at night. UFC is going to go to Fanatics. Mark my words. Whether it's 1 year, whether it's 2 years, it's going to happen. It will happen. It's going to be a massive monopoly, and I will not see things getting any better, and I will not see these influencers using their ability to maybe manipulate these companies in providing a better service for collectors. Because at the end of the day, the sad thing is when these influencers get to that reach, and then that company comes knocking and says, "Hey, mate, we'll sponsor you for your videos and stuff that you do," they'll just take the money, shut the fuck up, and not say anything, and they just put the money in their pocket themselves. Whether they like it or not, that's what a lot of them do, and they don't actually use their reach to do something, to better to help others in the hobby. It's you know, they're all helping people when they're getting to that point. Once they get to the point, they'll just forget about everyone else and just worry about who's putting money in their pocket or helping them in benefit, whether one way or another. And that's the sad reality. And we've seen it heaps of times in this hobby, and that's what happens. It's pretty piss poor.
It's pretty shit. No, I agree with you. I agree with you entirely. There's sometimes there are circumstances, like you said, that Mark's card circumstances. I know a lot of people back themselves, but sometimes you don't actually. Yeah, but I'll give the benefit of the doubt to those people, like, because they didn't exactly know what he was doing. All right, and then you got caught out, and I get that. But if you pushed him beyond that point, or you gave him benefit of the doubt when he did get caught doing what he was doing, or you did know what he was doing before he got caught, then it's a different discussion to be had. You know, like, you can't promote a person like that and not come out and apologize, and then people still were just like, oh, you know, it's just an oversight by that guy. Okay.
But even like Mojo, like the thing, like doing the fake thing with Le Mans Curator, you know, the fake video with Le Mans Daps Le Mans.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, doing that sort of stuff and then making it seem like it's real, but it's not real. And then it's just like, so what's the point? Like, you know, I mean, what are you trying to...
It has become a clown show.
It's just
it's a circus,
theatrics, mate. You've forgotten about the whole purpose of why we're here. You know, why are we here? We're here because we are bizarre people that like to collect little pieces of cardboard, some that have autographs, some that have memorabilia, some that have shininess on it or some sort of image that we like. And we collect them for some reason or another because we are bizarre and we like to
That's our hobby.
put
That's our hobby.
we like to put intrinsic value on it. It's no
And we
different to like a
build
lot of other
connections
hobbies.
with each other in this space.
Exactly.
We build connections
Right.
with each other. We catch up at shows or outside of shows, and we've built lifetime friendships. And these people are good people, and you get to know their story, their family, this and that. That's the whole experience of it all, and that's fantastic. Like a lot of people use it as an escape. Like some people have told us like they've had
Correct.
mental health problems, and it's helped them get
Correct.
through it. And like they've spoken to people in the hobby, and that's helped them because they never had the confidence and had many friends, and they've built lifelong friendships out of it. And you got these circus freaks over in the States. And yeah, I'm going to say it's the States because that's where they're all from. These circus freaks coming out and just like they've become clown shows. That's literally what it's become. And they think, oh, it's what I'm doing so cool and funny. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot. Genuinely. You look like to us, to the untrained eye, you look like, oh, this is so cool. This is awesome. But someone that's got their head screwed on, like when we're reporting on this stuff and trying to tell everyone that listens on this show and other people when we see you at shows, man, you look like the biggest grifter on the planet. You actually do. You're not genuine. That's the thing. You're actually not genuine. So you look like a moron.
Yeah, well, Manny says, hey, Dommy, you are a clown.
He also said that I had shit on my shirt. Yeah, this shit takes nice juicy shit on fucking into
Chelsea
into
at the
Miami
moment.
and Messi
And Chelsea.
in Chelsea. What else we hear? Jay said, grab a shine collar. Here to tell everyone that Doma was obsessed with Juanito. It was like his idol. 100%. Love scamming people and never getting caught. It's elite. Jay says, Juanito collar for the win. Manny says, Source's idol is Shine. Because he wish he could do as much booger sugar as Shine. Jay says, Manny, can you get me a Shine White Shimmer 101, says Jay. Global said he hit a huge card out of a repack, sent it for grading, and it came back unauthentic. I should have looked closer because it was a 1 of 1. There's Manny calling me a clown. Brett says, Exhibit A, Roth cards. Manny says double coverage puts me in a mental state. No, that's okay. That's it's American Doma. What do you really expect? The land of show, pomp, pageantry, and 330 million morons. And unfortunately, Manny, you fall within that 330 million, according to Jay. So,
yeah, so Manny's tuned in right at the right time. Right at the right time.
Anyway, it's just, as we keep saying, enjoy what you can. Like, yeah, I don't know what else to say, to be honest. Like,
and last but not least, and then we'll probably start wrapping it up, ladies and gentlemen. This one here, make sure you check it out as well. Sports Card Breakers speaks out about unloaded boxes. I remember when this, became a thing or whatever, and I think we might have even talked about it before it even came a big story a while back amongst the YouTube content creators about loaded boxes. And we were just like, ladies and gentlemen, you are so naive if you don't think that Panini and these manufacturers, Tops and so on, know where the best hits are in the product. You are so damn naive. And funny enough, they actually Dan has actually had some breakers who receive product directly from Panini and so on come out and say they believe they're getting loaded boxes. Like they believe, that's what they're doing. And just watch the video that Dan has. I don't want to, it defeats the purpose of me bringing up what we're talking about. Just watch it. He brings up some really good points. And what's good about watching his videos is he always has a few left of field thinking points, stuff that's out of the box that you might not even think of. But he throws that out there and it gets you thinking in a different vein of manner about the whole situation at hand and Fanatics taking over and what's to come for collectors and hobbyist enthusiasts of card collecting in the next sort of 24 months. So yeah, look, it gets you thinking. And I'll tell you what, Dom, I'm fucking worried, man. I'm worried. I think, Dom, I'm telling you, AFL boxes is going to be about the only thing that I'm going to be buying for a very, 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 very long time. I don't think I'll be ripping any basketball or NFL or anything of that like.
It's pretty worrisome. Manny says he loves you, Jay, which is nice. And he also said, I lied last week saying that I was a top 3 scorer. I saw the footage. Ain't no way he scored a goal. Yeah. Okay. That's nice. Loaded box is just a term. They're really marketing boxes and nothing wrong. Should make shiny boy loaded ones with 8 balls in them. Oh, my God. Jay. Thanks again for the laughs, lads. Enjoy the grand final. You too, Brett.
Mate.
We can finish the show on the final update. Saucy and I, we are premiers as of last night. Got the win. Got the dub.
Got the dub. Take out the grand final. The Cinderella story is finished. The doggies run is done. The underdog, we came from 4th, scraped into finals by winning the last game by 1 point just to scrape in the last game of the regular season. We get in there, we take it out, we defeat 1st and 3rd on the ladder, and we take out the chocolates. So we'll give ourselves a pat on the back. Thank you very much. It was a good win. It was actually very good to beat those guys because they're absolutely tossers.
It was weird. It was worth me becoming me at the end of the game. Just abusing that guy. Literally, fuck. Jeez, man. That got out of hand. It got out of hand very, very quickly. Yeah. Let's just put it this way. He called one of our players a pussy at the end of the game once the buzzer went, and I called him out on it, and he thought he wanted to be mates with me. Let's just put it this way. You're not my mate. Fuck off, clown. Like as simple as that.
It was nearly left, right, good night.
Nah, I'm not going to start a fight. I'm not Manny, who used to beat up people for fun. He says, Panoma, I don't kick pens. I'm not even the pen taker of my team, mate. I don't take any set shots, no pens, no corners. No, we've got the specialist in our team for that on the soccer field. Very nice. All right. On that note, ladies and gents, keep living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the great man, Sauce. Take it easy. Enjoy the grand final. Happy collecting and peace out.
Go the Lions.
Peace. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports. Double coverage.